A long time ago, while endlessly scrolling through YouTube looking for new music, an image in my suggestion bar caught my attention. I clicked on it and was then mesmerized by what I saw, although I didn't look it up further. Recently, I was thinking about how water can be used in photography, and I had a vague souvenir of this image that made such an impression on me. After entering a few keywords on Google, I found it again, and I found way more than that. I found an entire body of work consisting of magical images. But before taking a deep dive into them, let's present its author, Susanna Majuri. To quickly present her, Susanna Majuri was born in 1978 and grew up in Finland. She was at first interested in creative writing, but then switched to photography and obtained her master's degree in 2007 from Helsinki's University of Arts and Design. Since 2013, she was pursuing a doctorate at Helsinki's Fine Art Academy, and in 2016, she made probably her biggest accomplishment because she published her book, Sense of Water. And you can trust me when I say that. I've tried really hard to get a copy of it to make this video, but sadly it was impossible to find it. So if anyone that's watching this video has this book for sale, I would be very interested in buying it. As you have probably noticed, I'm talking about Susanna Majuri in the past tense since she sadly passed away in 2020. I of course had the morbid curiosity, like many others, to look up for the cause of her death, but no specific information was communicated. It's a huge loss for the art world, as the work displayed in her first and only book is absolutely incredible, as we will see it right now. In what I consider to be her best series of images, Majuri uses backdrops that she photographs herself, prints on big wax cloth, and then sets up at the bottom of swimming pools. She then lets her models, often complete strangers, sometimes dancers, evolve in the pool, and she captures images of that performance. In my opinion, the genius in those images comes from the feeling we get when we look at them. They feel like dreams. And this feeling is due to the images being at the boundaries between reality and the fairy tale. These dreamlike feelings also stems from the fact that in the images, the subjects, by floating in a made-up space, lose some of their physicality as we do in dreams, in which we are propulsed into situations without our bodies being involved. The characters in Majuri's images seem to be looking for this physicality, as they are a lot of the time trying to reach some of the physical elements that we see in the images. They are trying to exist in this world, to be physical, as Majuri said. This dreamlike feeling also comes from the use of water, which completely transforms the scenes she depicts and helps with merging the subject with the landscapes. Not only are the images very strong in conveying a dreamlike feeling, they are also making plenty of references to Scandinavian culture. In this image, for example, a white silhouette disappears into whiteness or comes out of it depending on the attention and tenderness she receives, just like the invisible child in Tove Jansson's book. But Majuri does not only refer to literature, she also claims that some of her images are inspired by songs. For example, this one relates to Agnes Obel's Riverside, while this one relates to the song Silent All These Years by Tori Amos. More generally, it's the North that is honored in Majuri's images, not only through cultural references, but also through the landscape that she uses in her backdrops. They often contain snow, ice, Scandinavian animals and landscapes, which is not really surprising considering the fact that Majuri said that she spent most of her childhood playing outside in the wilderness of Finland. Whoops, this is just a small break in the video to tell you that you can comment, like and subscribe if you want to do it. It would really help me move further with my videos. However, the strong use of cultural references, which is something that I appreciate, is not the only thing that I like about her work. I also like the exploration of the connection between humans and the natural world, the strong emotions she tried to ignite in the viewer's mind, the fact that she lets a decent part of mystery in her images, and that their interpretation is left to the viewers. All those qualities combined with the strong use of cultural references makes me convinced that Majuri was a true ambassador of Romanticism in photography. And I think she would agree with me since she said the following in an interview. I don't quite know how these characters act. Will they die or will they stay? Are they alive or dead? On the other hand, I'm so romantic that I believe there is a possibility of everything being solved. If you are not convinced yet about Susanna Majuri's romanticism, she also said the following. I need to see a picture of a tragedy to get permission to feel my feelings. I don't know how I feel unless I can see a picture for emotions. Put your heart into the picture and find companionship. Find the sorrow you are hiding, talk with the image, look at your loss. This idea of the artwork not only perceived as a tool to express the artist's feeling, but also as a mean to trigger the viewer's emotion, confirms my suspicion regarding Majuri's Romanticism. Majuri is also part of the Helsinki School, which regroups many artists having studied photography at Aalto University, where Timothy Parsons was developing new ways of teaching. But to me, the Helsinki School is more than that. It's almost an art movement in itself, which revives a lot of characteristics of Romanticism, and in particular German Romanticism, and manipulates them with the photographic medium. And that's also one of the reasons why I think that Majuri was truly romantic in many ways. The Helsinki School is also known because of its conceptual approach of photography, something that we also find in Majuri's works. Although she is often keen on letting the viewer interpret the images as he wants, and she even works towards that goal, for example by hiding the subject's faces, which helps with identification, when Majuri gives us an explanation about her images, we can see that she really uses photography to manipulate concepts. One example is her image Älskar Feel, for which she explains that it was made while she suffered strongly from anorexia to the point where it threatened her life. She then decided she would not give up photography. This picture is highly conceptual as she explains that the color of the woman's dress represents fire, to be understood as the fire of life, and the water was not able to extinguish it. But she can also not completely escape from the water. The boat that we can see in the distance is too far away. At least she has a refuge in the lighthouse. Another thing that I love about her images is that it builds on Impressionism. Not only because it shares some visual properties with Impressionist paintings, as we can clearly see in this image in which the Impressionist aspect is particularly striking, and that seems clearly inspired by Monet's water lilies, but also because of how it explores light, colors, and their fluidity. This exploration is made possible by the water that plays an important role in how the light reflects and on how the colors are blending together. This use of water strongly participates in giving a painterly look to her images, and it seems that it was something that she was looking for, as when talking about the images she said the following: "They are a mix of painting and photography. I choose precisely each tint, each color nuances, depending on the story I want to suggest." And her images suggest a lot of stories. For example, in Raven, we can see, well, a raven that's being followed by two girls, and one of them is looking at the other one, maybe in a doubtful way if they should really follow that raven. This might be an image that suggests the pursuit of something. In Gravity, we can see a girl that seems to be hiding and afraid of an eagle that's standing above her, and this image strongly suggests that it's about fears and about their paralyzing aspect. In her image Kultakolikot, and that's a hard one to pronounce, we can see a girl that's advancing in the water in what seems like a determined way because of her hand that's forward. And in the background we see birds that are living in a group. And this image might be telling a story about the departure towards something new. And of course her images are also absolutely wonderful because of their compositions. So let's take a look at some of her images and on how the composition works in them. In Savior, for example, the three elements that we see first when we look at the image, which are the woman, the bubbles she makes by moving, and the house, are not only connected narratively, but they also are geometrically. Therefore, when we look at the image, our eyes are going from one shape to another similar shape. In my opinion, this participates in making the image pleasing to look at. Then on the bottom right, we can see negative space, which plays a role of contextualizing what we are looking at. The grass does not seem like the kind of grass we find underwater, and this participates in amplifying the surreal aspect of the image. Then finally, when looking at the left side, we can have hints about what the image might be about by seeing a human figure wearing red walking towards the house, and another one being working on a car in the background. Is this image the visual representation of someone dreaming to go back to the familiar house or something else? We don't really know, but what is sure is that the composition in Majuri's images is both participating in making the image pleasant to look at, but is also reinforcing the narrative aspect of the images. In Mirror, the same kind of mechanism applies. We have three elements: the landscape, the movement of the water, or is it the fold of the waxcloth, and the girls holding each other. We look at them first, and then the water is guiding us to the context of the image, a cold one that the girls are reconforting themselves from in this case. We could obviously analyze more images, but I hope that these two examples were sufficient in convincing you that Majuri had a great mastery of composition. So if we summarize it now, her work has strong compositions, she created artworks that are emotionally loaded, she used the camera to paint impressionist pieces, she hides plenty of symbolism and references in her work, she depicts a lot of nature in her images, and she shows an appreciation for the sublime. Therefore, it seems like she checks every boxes to become an artist that will be remembered, unlike many of her contemporaries. I'm quite sure that the collectors that bought her work made a very good deal. Whoops! This is a second break to tell you that you can also activate the bell in order to be notified of each videos, but the best way to be noticed when I release a new video is to follow me on Instagram. The link is in the description. I'm absolutely sorry for these commercial breaks, let's get back to the video. It's also interesting to take a look at some of Majuri's images that are not part of the series that I discuss the most, but that are nonetheless very interesting and that also contains water in them most of the time. In this one, for example, we can see a boy that seems to hide in the boat. The old windows makes the boy appear slightly distorted, a characteristic that is found in her later works with water. Here we can see once again someone wearing red, looking at a boat that leaves. Majuri hinted that this was done when she was missing someone. The boat and this person passes, but it's unreachable. Here we can also see a body that seems to be suspended in time in a weird position, as if gravity was non-existent on this planet. Something that we also find in her later work. So as you can see, she made plenty of interesting images even before the water series, but the water series, to me, takes on all of the elements I liked in her later work and assembles them in masterpieces. It's now soon time to end this video, but before letting you go, let's discuss some artworks that are similar to the ones that were discussed in this video. The first one I want to discuss is Diana Templeton and her book, The Swimming Pool. In this book, we can also see an exploration of the body's movements underwater. No backdrops are used, but a more visually important role is given to light, in my opinion. Light is used to create abstract shapes in the background of the subject. I still like Majuri's works better, but Templeton's images also have some poetry to them. A second artist that also explored water in a very mystical way is Bill Viola, which made videos of bodies slowly rising to the surface, such as in the video I'm showing you right now that is called Ascension. Martin Ebdur made some paintings that gives off the same vibe as the images from Majuri, without the fantastical component though. She paints bodies underwater in a realist way. But if I had to mention only one artist whose work is similar to the one of Majuri, it would probably be Larry Sultan. The Swimmer series might have been an inspiration for Susanna Majuri, and to be honest, it's an absolutely mind-blowing body of work. His images also looks like paintings in a way. They also share this impressionism with Majuri's work. They are very powerful images that I would love to have in my collection if I had the means to have an art collection, of course. In his work, Larry Sultan went to different pools in the USA and photographed people swimming. This is almost underwater street photography. Absolute genius. His book The Swimmers will definitely be added to my gigantic photo books wishlist. And for now, the size of my photo book wishlist is inversely proportional to my photo book collections. But don't worry, you can solve that by subscribing and liking this video and helping me getting monetized. I think all of the proceeds from this channel will naturally go to increasing my photo book collection. It's now time for me to end this video, and for those of you that stayed until there, I prepared a small tribute to Susanna Majuri and her work. She died at a very young age, and we can only imagine how much more magic she could have produced through her photographs had she stayed alive longer. All we can do now is to cherish her work, talk about it, and enjoy it, like I have tried to do in this video. I hope you have enjoyed it, and I will see you the next time.
I beg the moon be on every side in brightest days, on darkest nights, and all the stars I see tonight. children